everyone, and welcome back to the Business Bar, the only place where we serve you delicious drinks as well as delicious business and life advice. So I realized that I haven't done a video about YouTube in so long, and because I'm actually going to VidCon this weekend, what I thought I'd do is talk a little bit about branding on YouTube. So particularly what I want to do is give you some tips about how to actually stand out and grow a brand here on YouTube. And of course, I have paired this talk with a delicious Singapore Sling, none other than for the fact that it is red, and obviously so is the YouTube logo, so that's why we're going with that. If you liked this episode, I would very much appreciate it if you gave it a big thumbs up. And of course, if you are new around here, become a regular by subscribing to the channel. And do leave me in the comments below which of these is your favorite tip. Maybe let me know which one you have not been implementing, and help the audience out by leaving any additional tips that you do have. So, Singapore Sling. I've never been to Singapore. I want to go so badly. Please do let me know if you are from Singapore or if you've ever been to Singapore, because I would absolutely love to go there. But a Singapore Sling is a delicious cocktail that is made with gin, a bit of brandy, a bit of grenadine. Of course, we use grenadine all the time here on this channel. But I'm simply just going to start out by using 2 shots of this Tanqueray gin. Gin. I need to go back to the gym. And then I'm gonna go in with just 1 shot of brandy. I mean, specifically you should choose cherry brandy. This is not cherry brandy, but it will absolutely do. So, YouTube. One of my favorite things in the entire world is obviously YouTube. I would not be where I am today successfully with a 6-figure business, with all of the opportunities, booked out clients. I'm booked out to the end of the year. None of this would have happened if I hadn't have grown myself here on YouTube. So I love YouTube, and I know it can be a really competitive place. A lot of people are really struggling with the algorithm. A lot of people are really struggling to stand out. But I say, please, if you are losing views, if you are worried about standing out, do not worry. You still can build a successful business by finding true fans and people who adore you and want to be a part of your community and be customers of your business. So please don't give up. Don't think YouTube is dead. I absolutely do not think so. But the first thing that you can do to start standing out on YouTube is find a niche. It is so important that you don't just come on YouTube with the intention to be a daily vlogger or come on the YouTube with the intention of just creating random lifestyle content, because there are just so many people that are creating that type of stuff. There is something special about you. There is a skill that you have. There is a topic that you love. There's a passion that I'm sure is a part of your flame. Your flame? I'm sure there's a passion that you have that ignites your flame. But find one of those things and go really specific with that. The channels that are doing so well here on YouTube are the ones that are super duper specific. Ones that I can think of in particular lately are Peter McKinnon. He's a videographer, photographer. He has a very niche style of video and photography that he does, and he has grown his channel to over 1.5 million in such a short amount of time. And there are so many other people who are doing the same. They have a very niche style topic, and they are just getting so much traction because nobody's seen that stuff before. You know, at the end of the day, if there is someone who's super successful creating lifestyle content and then you come on the scene and you are not so well known, who do you think that they are going to watch? They're going to watch the people they're already familiar with. So don't be trying to compete with all of these lifestyle brands, these beauty brands, these health brands. Find something that's super specific to you and make that your thing. I actually have a free niche training that is linked down below. I mean, it's for entrepreneurs, but it still can be totally relevant for YouTubers as well. But one thing that's really clever that you can do is what's called niche comboing. That is exactly what I'm doing here with the Business Bar. I love making cocktails. I absolutely love the hospitality industry, and while hospitality, cooking, cocktails, that's already a big niche here on YouTube, and kind of so is business, but I'm combining the two to make something that nobody's ever seen. So think about that. Is there a way that you can maybe start telling horror stories while doing your makeup? Or maybe you can start doing fitness videos that have a spiritual component to them, you know, chakra workouts or something like that. Find something, maybe in one niche and maybe in another niche, that are 2 things that you're passionate about, and bring them together. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you have to do something that nobody has seen before. That's the first step to standing out on YouTube. Singapore Sling. I should not start a singing channel. That is definitely not what I should be doing. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is adding some lime juice. Now, typically with a Singapore Sling, you would add lemon juice, but I just think lime juice has this much nicer zest to it than lemon juice. Lemon can be a little bit too punchy with the brandy, and yes, that just squirted all over my shoulder, but hashtag that's what happens. And then we're going to go in with my all-time favorite ingredient, grenadine, and just do about 15 mils of that. Now, grenadine is really not my favorite ingredient, but at the end of the day, it makes cocktails look beautiful. So the next thing while we're on the topic of color is make sure you have standout, consistent aesthetics. Now, I don't talk about aesthetics a lot. I don't think that they are necessarily the most important thing in business. I think too many people spend too much time on their logo and their branding colors when at the end of the day, they should just be building their personal brand and growing their tribe and growing their loyal fans. But on YouTube, it's a little bit of a different story. Having consistently recognizable branding across your channel, meaning your thumbnails, meaning the types of words that you use, meaning your channel branding, that's really important. You know, people get attached to certain things on YouTube and they like consistency that is recognizable. You know, if you have someone who's watched one of your videos and loved it and maybe even subscribed to your channel, there's a chance that your video is still not going to land in their inbox. That's how the algorithm is working these days. But if someone can see you in the suggested videos or someone can see you on the search page and they recognize your branding instantly without even having to think about it, then they're going to click on your video. So it's really important that you put in the effort on YouTube to have consistency with the type of content you create. And just like the first point, try to do something that's different. You know, there are so many people, and I'm guilty of this too, I know, but there's so many people who have exactly the same looking thumbnails. You know, it's just a picture of them with some black and white text over the top, or I know a lot of people have, you know, pinks and purples and they use emojis. At the end of the day, other than the fact that it's got a picture of you in it, that's gonna start feeling really repetitive. And here's a little tip for you that no one really thinks about. You wanna make sure that all of your thumbnails, whilst consistent in aesthetics, look extremely different. If people aren't necessarily getting a notification that you've just uploaded a new video, then what they're gonna do is have to obviously rely on seeing you in other sources. If all of your thumbnails look the same, you know, they might be the same, you sitting in the place that you film with similar types of clothes with just a little bit of text, what's gonna happen is someone's gonna go, I've already seen that video. It might not be the same video, but obviously it looks the same to them. You know, they might not take the time to read the title, they might not take the time to read the text on the thumbnail, and so they're gonna feel like they've already seen it before. So my suggestion is, if you wanna stand out on YouTube, build an epic, memorable brand, is choose branding that is unlike anybody else's, that's super different and super unique to who you are, but make sure you're thinking about the psychology of those thumbnails. Make sure every thumbnail that you create is a beautiful lifestyle shot, rather than you just sitting in the same spot. If you're filming a video about workouts, do a picture of you working out. If you're filming a video about journaling, do a picture of you journaling. The more that it can be really linked to the specific topic of that video, but really stand out and look different to anything you've created before or anyone else has created, the better chance you are going to have at getting people to click on those videos. And even with the branding in the video, you know, your title cards, the way that your social media links come up, all of that should feel really consistent. We all love TV shows because they have theme songs and branding, and we get attached to that stuff. We get nostalgic about them. So use that psychology within your branding here on YouTube. Okay, so now that we have our gin in the glass with our brandy, our grenadine, and our lime juice, we are going to shake this baby up. It's already looking exactly like YouTube. Hashtag YouTube should sponsor me for this cocktail, even though I didn't invent it. And just a little tip when you are making cocktails, unless it's something like an espresso martini or a sour, when you know it's done is when this part of the cocktail shaker is almost too frosted and too cold to touch. Okay, so I am just going to pour this in here. It's probably a little pink. I don't think YouTube are going to be sponsoring me anytime soon for that off branding. But simply what I'm going to do is just top that with some soda water as well. And then I will give you the final tip before the garnish. I'm going to be really sneaky and like add a little bit more grenadine so YouTube doesn't get angry at me. And then my final tip for growing your brand and standing out on YouTube is to stay up to date with trends and put your own niche spin on them. And what I mean by that is, obviously we know that there's a certain type of content that performs really well here on YouTube. Trends. There are things that get on the trending page, they catch on like wildfire, and they go absolutely crazy. And anyone who's savvy and fast enough to get on that train can get really, really successful and can get viral videos from that. If you want to be a YouTuber, you have to stay up to date with what's going on in the industry, particularly your industry as well. But there are certain types of videos that are kind of, you know, broad in the sense of the content themselves, but that you can put a spin on. Now, some examples of that are current trends is the 24-hour trend. A lot of people are doing 24 hours in my life or 24 hours using a certain product. What you could do is, if you were, say for example, a business coach or a social media coach, you could do 24 hours without social media, or you could do 24 hours trying to work like Gary Vaynerchuk. Another trend that's going on at the moment is the Instagram trend of letting your subscribers or letting your Instagram followers control your life, and that can go across any industry. I did one for mine, letting my Instagram followers control my business for a day. You know, you could do letting my Instagram followers control my workouts for a week, or letting my Instagram followers pick my tarot cards. You could do anything. So have a look at what the things that are on YouTube at the moment that are currently trending, that all of the really big, popular, trend-savvy accounts are doing, and find a way to make that relevant for your particular niche. Make sure you're also using the right keywords and search terms to make you show up within that particular trend, but make sure you're getting really savvy and making it so different to how everybody else is creating it by putting your own positive spin on, and that's obviously going to come from you having your own creative niche. What I'm really trying to get at with all of these tips is you have to be different. The people that are really, really succeeding here on YouTube, the people that are being recognized, are the people that are just so amazing and they're doing something different. Another example that I do have is Molly Burke. She is a YouTuber who is actually legally blind, and she's creating content that nobody else, I know you don't necessarily have to be blind to be successful here on YouTube, but at the end of the day, she's making content that is just like what everybody else is doing, but from the perspective of a blind person, and no one's seen that. That's why she's absolutely taking off. So really try to think about, what can you bring to YouTube that people haven't seen? What can you bring to YouTube that's new? What can you bring to YouTube that's innovative? The second that you can find that sweet spot between who you are, the passions that you have, what you like, and find a really comfortable place to stay and create content, you will succeed, obviously, if you are consistent. But at the end of the day, standing out on YouTube, growing a brand on YouTube is all about being different. All right, the final touches of this cocktail is to simply put on the garnish. So what I'm gonna do for this garnish is actually create a bit of a lime swizzle, let's call it. Yeah, let's call it a swizzle. I don't really know what it's called. And I'm going to sprinkle that on top. And then I'm going to finally top that off with a cherry. Okay, so that is it for me. Those are my tips on how to stand out on YouTube. I hope I brought you some different perspectives, because I know there's a lot of videos here on growing on YouTube and building a brand, but I think they're all the same, and they're all a lot about the technicalities and the lighting and the blah. I wanted to give you some new ideas, something that you maybe hadn't have thought of, maybe some new perspectives on how to actually stand out. At the end of the day, it is a lot of work. You have to be consistent, you have to be patient, but the payoffs are massive. As I said at the beginning, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for YouTube, and I'm so incredibly grateful. And that's why I'm so passionate to continually show up and create these videos for all of you. But I really, really hope that you enjoyed yourself here at the Business Bar today. I hope that you are walking away drunk on knowledge and empowered to take action on your dreams. As I mentioned, I do have that free niche training in the description below, so please do check that out. And thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Here on YouTube. Meow. Meow.
Let's get making some drinks, isn't it?
Let's make some drinks. I just really want to make some drinks. I'm a good singer.